You were listening to the Healthy Happy Mommy podcast, episode number 43.
You are listening to the Healthy Happy Mommy podcast with Nikki Lee Gorovich, the faith, health, and business style podcast for Christian boss moms, so you can train from a fellow mompreneur and other experts how to run your business, raise your babies, and maintain your health, all while keeping God at the center of it all. Here's your host, organic obsessed, crazy chicken lady, and world's okayest mom, Nikki Lee Gorovich.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Healthy Happy Mommy podcast. So excited you're here as always. Today's episode is going to be a little fun, a little change of pace from what we've been talking about, and we're going to focus on the fitness, health side of things and talk about macros today and counting macros and why I love to count macros, why it is something that has been able to get me in the best shape of my life. The best shape that I've ever seen myself in is when I was counting my macros and when I was intermittent fasting. And both of those things together, and obviously introducing resistance training and strength training, totally had me at peak physical state that I've never seen my body in before, and really taught me a lot about my body. It taught me a lot about lean muscle growth and what that can do for you and how it can make you feel. And when I was doing that, this was last year that I first started counting my macros, and I did it for maybe 6 months, maybe a little less than that. And I was always practicing intermittent fasting. I've been doing that for 2 years straight. I have not stopped. But the macro counting was only done for maybe 6 months, like I said. But once I was doing it, I was getting such drastic results, and seeing, other people seeing me and seeing what I was doing, they kept coming to me asking me, how do I get my body in shape? What do I need to do? And the funniest part about the whole thing is that I didn't feel like I was dieting. You know me, that I don't like the word diet. I don't believe in diets because I don't believe that they're sustainable. I believe that we should be eating I believe we should be eating in a way that is sustainable, that is enjoyable, that we're not going to feel deprived or where it's going to feel like a chore or something punitive, where you're constantly punished over how much you ate or didn't eat, or how much you have to work out in order to work off the calories you just ate. I don't believe in that at all. And the funniest thing is that when I was doing the macro counting, which is called If It Fits Your Macros, you'll see the abbreviation IIFYM, If It Fits Your Macros. That's the style of eating. When I was doing that, I was eating more than I've ever eaten in my whole life. And it was just hilarious because I was eating like a teenage boy, and I was losing weight, and I was gaining lean muscle, and I just looked amazing. And I was like, what is going on? Why am I able to eat all this food and still lose weight? Not only lose weight, but look really, really good, super lean, super tight. Everything was toned. And I was blown away because I was like, oh my gosh, this completely goes against society's view of calorie cutting, and if you want to lose weight, you better starve yourself and all of that stuff. So that kind of really opened my eyes to see that we might be going about this the wrong way. We might be thinking that we have to starve ourselves in order to lose weight, but honestly, that is completely the opposite, because when you starve your body from food on a constant basis, if you're chronically starving your body, say for example, all week long you eat under 1,000 calories, you're definitely in a caloric deficit at that point for a long period of time. What's going to happen is your body is going to start to adapt to the amount of calories you're giving it. And since your body loves you and it wants to protect you and keep you alive, it's going to go into starvation mode, where it wants to keep you alive, but it's not getting enough calories. So what it does is it holds on to every single calorie that you do give it in order to keep you alive. And so the problem with that is that you're not burning any calories because your body isn't allowing you to burn the calories, because if you burn the calories, then you're going to die in your body's mind because you're not giving it enough calories. There's no surplus to burn off. So you're not eating enough to burn off enough. So when you are constantly starving your body, constantly not eating and not feeding yourself enough food, your body is going into that mentality of like, I gotta keep this person alive, so I'm not going to allow it to burn off extra calories and extra energy. And so when you see people doing like carb cycling or calorie cycling, that's okay, because you're taking like 4 days and you're eating heavy amounts of calories, but then you take 1 day and you do a caloric deficit where you maybe eat like half of the amount of calories that you would eat in a day. You eat half of those in 1 day. So then you're like switching up your body's formula, and you're kind of tricking your body into thinking that, okay, we're having 1 day where we're eating a lot, and then we're having the next day where we're not eating a lot. So your body's not used to it. So it's still going to be burning, those calories, and it actually helps your metabolic rate to be kind of jolted to like keep that metabolism running, but not to the point where you're never feeding your body, and so your body's never burning the calories. I hope this is making sense. So what I found was that for me, I wasn't really trying to lose weight. I was just trying to gain lean muscle mass and tone my body and, kind of put on muscle in some areas and lean out in other areas. My goal really was not to lose weight. It just happened. I just kept losing weight, but gaining muscle mass. And I was eating so much. Like, legitimately, my husband would be like, why are you eating again? We just ate dinner. And of course, because I was intermittent fasting, I was eating between 11 and 7. So say we would eat dinner at 5:30, and I would check my macros at that point and be like, oh my gosh, I still have to eat 64 grams of carbs, 10 grams of fat, and 20 grams of protein. And I would just like whip up these huge protein pancakes and just house them and like put whatever on top to like finish my macros out. Like I would put a bunch of fruit on top, or sometimes I would put like a protein bar cut up on top of that and just eat it, or like a big old slab of peanut butter all over the protein pancakes. And my family would just be staring at me as I'm like shoveling these protein pancakes into my mouth after we just ate dinner. And they're like, okay, number one, they were jealous because it looked amazing and they wanted to eat them too. And I was like, nope, these are all for me. I have to eat all of it. And the second thing is that like my husband saw my results and he's like, oh my gosh, you look amazing and you're eating so much. How is this possible? And I said, I'm telling you, when you feed your body enough food, where to the point where it's balanced out, the ratios between the 3 macronutrients are balanced out, your body feels comfortable enough to burn off that extra energy and those extra calories. And it's like you're giving it that comfort level of, it's okay to burn calories because I'm going to feed you plenty more. So don't worry. It's okay to go ahead and burn calories. And that's just what happens. And your body goes into that natural metabolic state where you're burning off the extra calories. And when you pair that with intermittent fasting and you give your body the 16 hours of time where you're not eating, your body is burning off all the extra fat that was stored in your liver over time. And so you're never like keeping that fat on your body. It's the perfect setup. It is the perfect situation. And if you love to eat like I do, it's even better because then you can feel like, oh my gosh, I get to eat so much food and I don't have to feel bad about it. I have to eat all this food. This is wonderful, And of course, you'll see some people that do it if it fits your macros, and they're eating donuts and they're eating candy and pizza and all that stuff. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but I am saying that for me, I still maintain my quality of food when I'm practicing this way of eating. I don't go eat donuts and I don't go eat complete garbage. Obviously, sometimes I'll have pizza if it's gluten-free, but usually we make that at home. But I won't be eating garbage just to say that I can, because that's a lot of times what people will do. If it fits your macros, that means you can eat Oreos all day long. Okay, well, it might fit in your macros and you might reach your body composition that you're looking for if you are able to fit those macros in. However, what are you doing to the inside of your body? And all that sugar is not good for your body, and all of those artificial processed chemicals are not good for your body. So of course, I am not practicing that style of if it fits your macros. So I just want to make that clear. There's plenty of ways to, play around with this so that you are eating a lot of delicious things, but still eating healthy and still eating, naturally as much as you can. Of course, I don't eat completely naturally. I would say like 95% of my diet is natural. And like there's some cereal sometimes and some other things, but hardly any of that stuff. I don't really eat any of it. Because you want to make sure that you're also caring for your health. We're not just looking to look really good. Of course, that's a plus, but we want to be healthy too. We want to make sure that we're caring for our bodies on the inside as well as on the outside. So the 3 macronutrients that I was talking about, if you don't know already, are proteins, fats, and carbs. And what you want to do with this style of eating is make sure that you have a proper ratio of the 3. The way that you find that out is you can go download a macro calculator. If you just go to the App Store, there's lots of free ones out there. And basically, it just asks you for some information like your sex, your height, your weight, your age, your activity level. And based on all of those things, it will give you the macros that you should be eating within. It'll give you the amount of carbs, the amount of fats, and the amount of proteins. And usually the carbs are the highest, then the fats, then the proteins, or vice versa. It's fats and proteins, or it's usually like, for me, I think I'm somewhere around like 260 carbs, 50 grams of fat, and like 60 grams of protein or something like that. I think I could be completely wrong on those numbers, but you have to fill it in for you and see. It's all based on your specific lifestyle, your body type, your age, all of those things. So everyone's going to be different on that. But the thing that I like about it is I use MyFitnessPal to track my food, and MyFitnessPal has the macro calculator right in there. So it keeps track of your macros for you. You don't have to do anything except log your food. And it's super simple because their database is literally like they have everything. There's nothing that they don't have. And they have a little scanner thing that you can scan the barcodes of the foods you're eating. So you don't even have to enter it. You could just scan the barcode and then it saves it. And, if you eat within the serving size of the thing you're eating, it's super simple to just enter it. And it literally takes like 2 minutes for each meal when you're doing it. And then it will automatically subtract the macros for you and tell you how much you have left for the end of the day, what you need to eat to finish out your macros and all of that. And it keeps track for you. And you could put your weight goals in there. You could put your exercise goals, all kinds of stuff. I absolutely love it. It's definitely a godsend for me. And that's what I use to track. But there are other options out there. So I would say if you're not down with MyFitnessPal, because there is a charge for it, you do get a free month trial. So I would say at least give it a try and see how you like it for a month. And then if you don't want to pay, I think it's like $10 a month. So if you don't want to pay for it, at least use it for a month and get your macros numbers down, and then transfer the macro numbers over to like a free app that will track the macros for you. But MyFitnessPal is extremely accurate, so I would at least start with that and then get used to it. Just, getting used to like tracking what you put in your mouth is actually really beneficial, because I was saying to my husband the other day, how many of us can agree that we come home from work and we like while we're cooking dinner, we're eating chips and we're eating like whatever's out, because we're hungry or we want that like afternoon pick me up. So we're eating something while we cook dinner and we're like, oh my gosh, next thing you know, I've eaten half a bag of chips or, some cookies or whatever's out, you know what I mean? And like, you're like, oh my gosh, now I have to eat dinner, and you just feel kind of crappy about yourself and whatever. But when you're tracking your macros, it really helps you to not do that because number one, how are you going to log 3 chips or 5 chips? It's kind of hard to do that. And it also makes you more like conscious of the amount of stuff that you would normally pick on because you're like, well, if I eat this, that means I have to track it. So I'm just not going to eat it. And then you kind of like are thinking in your head, you're like, dang, I would have been eating like 5 or 6 handfuls of chips by now, or whatever else I would have been eating. Now I'm just not going to eat it because I don't feel like tracking it. And I also don't feel like wasting my macros on chips. So I'm just not going to eat them. And for me, it really helps me because I'm like, wow, I'm way more conscious about the stuff that I would have been eating, and now I'm not going to eat it. I'm going to save it for, for dinner or for after dinner when I can make myself a nice big something like a bowl of yogurt with fruit or granola or something like really delicious that I really want instead of wasting it on a handful of chips. So for me, it really helps me to be conscious of what I'm eating and what's going in my mouth. And once you see all of that and once your body starts to get used to if feeding it the right ratios of the 3 macronutrients, it will start to respond and you will start to see lean muscle growth. You'll start to see weight loss because automatically, even if you're not counting your calories, you're automatically eating within the calorie amount that the macros give you. So like MyFitnessPal will tell you it's these macros and these amount of calories. And if you eat within those macros, you're automatically hitting the right amount of calories. So you don't have to count calories, which who even wants to do that? It's way easier to count macros than count calories. And more fun, by the way, I feel. Because when you see that you have 64 grams of carbs left by the end of the day, you're like, sweet, I can eat a big bowl of cereal right now. That's awesome, Or like I can eat a bunch of fruit or whatever, But anyway, so when you start doing that, your body's going to respond and you're going to start seeing lean muscle growth. You're going to start seeing weight loss. And what I want you to understand is that you really, to see optimal results, you really want to be pairing this with some sort of resistance strength training. I work out at home, so I'm not all about you having to jump into the gym. That's not what I'm saying. Even if you were to use your own body weight and start with a push-up regimen or squat regimen or something that allows you to use some sort of resistance, you will see such more drastic results with pairing this with some sort of training because your body needs to be challenged. Your muscles need to be used. You're feeding them all this food. They want to use that food as fuel to put it towards your muscles, right? It's going to go towards your muscles. Your body is really, really smart. It knows exactly how to use the fuel that you're giving it, but you have to give it the fuel first, and then you have to allow it to expend the fuel through exercise. So if you guys have not grabbed my 5-minute workout yet, I would recommend you maybe start with that if you've never worked out before. If you're looking for something really, really quick, you can do it right first thing in the morning from your pajamas in your bedroom, wherever. You can do it, you don't need a lot of space. You don't need any equipment or any fancy gym clothes. I would definitely recommend starting with that. You can go to bit.ly/5minmorningnow. I will link that in the show notes as well so that you can go ahead and grab it. It's free and you can just give it a try. I would definitely say to pair that with your counting your macros if that sounded like fun to you. And if you're already doing intermittent fasting, those 3 together, you're going to be like a beach babe by the summertime, because I swear you will start seeing such drastic results when you start doing that. And you're going to be blown away because you're going to be like, how am I eating all this food and I'm still losing weight, or I'm still like looking this amazing? So I definitely want you guys to give that a try if it sounds like something that you might benefit from or something that is up your alley. Of course, it's not going to be for everyone because not everybody likes that style of eating, that not everybody wants to be bothered with counting things and all that jazz, and I understand that completely. But it is a very good way to get conscious about the food that's going in your mouth, to make sure that your body is getting the proper ratio of the 3 macronutrients. And I don't want you guys to forget about micronutrients either. The micronutrients are the vitamins and minerals that we need in our body too. So like I said, we really don't want to just be eating donuts and candy thinking that we're fitting in our macros. We want to make sure that we're eating healthy things too, because that's really going to make sure that our health is optimal all around. So you have to let me know if you try this style of eating out. I really want to hear from you. So I want you to go over to my Instagram at the Healthy Happy Mommy and just shoot me a message and let me know if you try it and what you think, because I really just think that it's gonna blow your mind if you've never tried it yet. It's super fun. It's super just liberating because you get to eat so much food and you see such great results. So I'm excited to hear from you. And until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.